All right, it's been a long time, but we're back. The Algorithm Sports Podcast. We're here with our NFL Inner Circle. I'm Toby Ruttenberg. I'm here with Joey Mal and Spence Rosen. And what better way to kick off our NFL season with a little bit of over-under action? You guys might remember last year we had some great football content, but I believe the first NFL video we did was the over-unders draft. Now, the rules of the draft are simple. We're going to go snake fashion. We haven't figured out an order yet, but we'll do that. Um, and the main rules are that everyone has to start with their favorite team. Now, all three of us are NFC East rivals. Commanders do not have a representative, unfortunately. And you have to go for an over-under for your favorite team. And then after that, you can go take any team, take their over or under. But once a team is discussed, they're off the board. You cannot pick them. So, guys, thanks for being here today. Do we have any opening thoughts before we get in?
Joey. Um, Thank you, Toby, for welcoming us back. Ready for a good season, and we're ready to get into it. I'm ready to be correct again. I think I had some good takes last year about my shout
Yeah,
out my Panthers,
you did like
um,
your Panthers.
and shout out my Bears.
Yeah.
So we'll see how we do
Uh,
this year.
yeah, just happy to be back. Feels like yesterday the Seahawks won the Super Bowl. Had to remind myself who won a
A
little
little
while
bit,
ago,
right?
but yeah, just good to be back. Toby back in the States, so this might be the first pod that you're back in the States, I think.
Yeah, this is
Um,
this is exciting.
so could be a little bit more on it, and I'm excited to be back. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's interesting with the preseason every year. I think the move is to either dive in like an unhealthy amount or just kind of stay out of it. Because if
hmm
you're just like surface level following, the narratives become so consistent and there's just no way to know whether or not they're right or wrong. Um, people love their leap teams, their fall off teams. I never really know what it's based on. Sometimes it's just like mirroring last season. Sometimes I feel like it's kind of like just out of a lack of other like things to talk about. Like the media just gets attached to certain teams. So I'll be interested to see how you guys have been doing your off-season work and how you are assessing teams. So, we're going to start off with our favorite teams, of course, NFC East. And I think it's only fair that we do it in order of how we finished in the standings last year. So for our draft order, we're going to have Joey, Spencer, and then me. Although I realize it's not fair because we're kind of locked in. So that for the how about we'll go reverse for this round and then vice
Yeah.
versa.
Fair enough. Fair
Perfect.
enough.
All right. So what better team to start it off than the New York Giants? The number 7.5. I never thought I'd live to see the day that the Giants had 7.5 as their number. And that really makes my life easy with this pick. It's a hard, hard, hard under. I could see the Giants even going 7-10. That's not inconceivable to me. I I think you would be insane to bet on that they would go 8-9. Because let me tell you a few things. One, there's a lot of confidence in Jackson Dart. And I'm a rather large Jackson Dart fan. I really liked what I saw from him in his rookie year. It's just too much faith in this guy who we've only seen have a few really good games. We've seen already come off with injuries multiple times. There's a lot of jokes about him being in the blue medical tent already. So there's that. The rest of the offense, I'm honestly rather optimistic about. And the Harbaugh infrastructure too. Like I think there could be something here, but now let's go to the other side of the ball. Some might say the more important side, which is the defense. And I could not be less confident in this defense, which has been gathering a kind of moderate amount of faith in the media. I just watched a lot of Giants last year. They could not stop the run for anything. I feel like the reasons that you know, pundits are saying that their run defense might be a little better are rather flimsy. I think the secondary is one or two injuries away from being a complete catastrophe. And this version of the Giants defensive line that we've seen over the last few years has always kind of not quite hit the ceiling. Um, I don't really know why it would be any better, except, they have a few more weapons with Arvell Reese. Um, and they have Tremaine Edmonds on the line that linebacking crew. But ultimately, I'm pessimistic about my team. I want to hear your guys' thoughts.
Spence, you go ahead.
Yeah. I think you left out a really important part, and maybe you did say I was just looking at their schedule. But did you mention Malik Neighbors yet?
No, I
Did you
did
mention?
not.
I think he's like I don't want to be like, yo, yeah, he's important, but like he's coming off a pretty major knee injury and it
Yeah,
doesn't really look right. But if he's right, he is one of the best receivers in the game and could be a mass and will be a massive weapon for Jackson Dart. I am looking at their schedule. It's, it's not easy.
no,
Um,
no,
like they do have the Cowboys opening night, and that's a Cowboys win every year. Like we're
it
gonna get to
always
my
is.
team.
I know.
But then they have, you know, Titans, Cardinals, but I don't know how many games they're gonna be favored in, and 7.5 is a large number.
Exactly. Joe?
Do they play the Cowboys? Is that our first Sunday night game?
Yeah, it is.
Of
Of
Yeah.
course
course.
it is.
It's
Of
it's
course
Yeah.
every
it
year.
is.
It's every year. And
Yes,
that's just like it's always like a blowout for the Cowboys. I get too invested and then they lose the next 3 games. It's just it's
Yeah.
script and a half.
Yep.
yeah.
All right.
I will say, the Giants for a long time now have remained my least feared team in the division.
Yeah.
Probably since I've been in about fourth grade and in the Manning years. But for the first time, I actually think the Giants have moved into third place in the NFC East.
Fair enough.
I know um, that might be quick um, after just 1 year of Dart, right? But and 1 year of Daniels not really playing and being that good. But I really think the Commanders are the worst team in this division now. I mean, everything that the Giants are starting to build like forward momentum, and Commanders just keep taking step back after step back. So I do think in that sense they're not the worst team in the division ever anymore. Um, However, I don't think third place in this division is winning, 8 games is what they would need to get over that over mark, and this is not going to happen.
Yeah. Seems like we're in agreement. All right. America's team. Spence, what do we
hmm
got?
yeah, Cowboys 9.5. I think I'm gonna go over.
Wow.
I don't think I've been this not confident or just like this optimistic about a Cowboys team in probably half a decade. Um, maybe that's not enough. They went 12-5 in like 2023, but didn't never really was all there. Their defense was still pretty bad. Their offense is always going to be good, and I just think they have this wide receiver core of CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens. They have a good running back, and they have Dak Prescott, who, for all the jokes, like as if you look at his career, is a really, really good career. Probably should have won an MVP at some point. Um, and and I know he's 33, but he's just evolved into this like pocket passing like quarterback. And I think their defense has gotten a lot better. They got Williams. They just got this Downs, the cornerback who everyone thought was one of the best players in the draft. And I think Schottenheimer, I know we were making jokes, or I was making jokes last year. It's like, who the hell is this guy? He kind of proved himself a little bit. But the main reason I think it's over is, I don't watch ESPN anymore, but I don't know how much Cowboys media coverage there's been on like Instagram and, notifications. I think the Cowboys train has kind of pushed away to these like Joe Burrow, Josh Allen type trains, even like a Jackson Dart train, like these teams and these quarterbacks who have a little bit more Instagram worthy um like clips and moments and clicks is another word to use. And so I think the pressure has almost gone away. And I think 9.5 is or 10 wins is very reasonable.
Yeah, fair enough. I don't necessarily disagree. I just think I'm definitely not excited about this Cowboys team. My main point that I'm gonna make is that I feel like the George Pickens hype is out of control because he obviously had a great season last year. I just feel like guys like this don't have like two amazing seasons in a row. It was kind of out of left field that he had almost 1,500 yards, and I just can't imagine he's gonna like be better next year.
I just think if they're both healthy, I think
Yeah.
it's
No,
huge.
it's dangerous. It's dangerous. And I'm like fearing that for week one against the Giants. I mean, below average secondary. Joe, you have a Cowboys take?
I think that I'm not afraid of this is just the same story every year, every year, every year. And I know that Spencer, you're saying that there's less media hype. Um, my take is a little different. I'm not saying there's more media hype. I'm actually seeing more internal Cowboys hype, like players actually
Hmm.
saying that like we have a good group this year in a different way than just your local uh shorts
Stephen A. Smith.
clad Cowboys fan with a flat brim, Dak jersey with a flat brim hat. Um, you know, I just think it's a little different this year. And I talked about fear a moment ago in the NFC East. And this, I do find myself being more fearful of the Cowboys than I have in recent seasons. Not as a threat to win the Super Bowl, but definitely as a threat to the Eagles. And I know like this division is kind of like a carousel of who's winning it. Um, so it's not really a new trend. But I do think the Cowboys right now they're trending upwards while the Eagles are kind of stagnant still and not loving what I'm seeing. So I would give them the division right now if I had to pick one.
Bro, the Cowboys are like I'm trying to think of like who an NBA player. Like, you know how Bill Simmons has like how Dame is like a coin flip guy, like he said, and like stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like the Cowboys are just a coin flip team where sometimes they're the scariest team to play and they're just torching you. And then there are just other games where you're just like, wow, this team sucks.
Hmm.
So I don't know. I feel like it'll still be kind of like that. But I don't know. I think last year was a bit of a maybe this is the wrong term, but a bit of a gap year for them, kind of getting used to Schottenheimer and the new system and moving on from Mike McCarthy being ass.
And
So,
Micah Parsons. They
and
traded Micah
Micah Parsons,
Parsons 3 days
which
before the
which
season or
by the
something.
way is like kind of by all accounts at this point a pretty good trade.
And they got Quentin Williams, who they just re-signed, and
Yeah.
they were able to use that money to like get Caleb Downs and pay him a little bit extra in the signing bonus. So yeah, it all kind of all worked out. I do miss Micah Parsons. I still wish I had
Yeah.
him.
All
He
right,
got hurt
Joey.
though.
That's true.
So,
Let's
yeah.
let's hear the Eagles.
Okay, my Philadelphia Eagles, one of the only teams in the league that have, a double digit over under win total. I need 11 wins, right, to get over.
Hmm.
And I unfortunately am gonna go with the under. I think they're gonna win 10 games this year. So,
Hmm.
and I think that for a couple of reasons. So, the biggest story for the Eagles is our quarterback right now. Well, the biggest story is AJ Brown nationally, I would say. But internally, there's a lot of pressure within Philadelphia, whether coming from the media or just, local Joe Schmo, that Jalen Hurts is maybe not the guy here. I'm personally in the camp that to find an elite quarterback or even, one that can win you the Super Bowl in the NFL is an incredibly rare thing to do. I think there are only on any given year, probably about 12 quarterbacks that could survive a full playoff run and maybe even 10, I'd go and get you through a Super Bowl run with a win. And I think Jalen's proven that he can do that twice now. I mean, he played well enough against Mahomes in both Super Bowls. I think was the better quarterback in both games. Now, this is his, I believe, I don't even know what number, eighth offensive coordinator of his career, different offensive coordinator in a row.
Who
You go
is
back
it
to
this year?
college. It's Sean Mannion who's coming in from Green Bay. He's got
Mhm.
like a West Coast offense, and basically he has Jalen moving under center rather than playing out shotgun a lot of motion, like getting out of the huddles quicker because last year the Eagles' offense was terrible. There's no secret, right? And they were getting to the line of scrimmage with like 5 seconds left. Super, super predictable. So they brought in this new guy, got rid of Kevin Patullo, Sean Mannion, super young, he was the quarterbacks coach over at Green Bay for a bit, and then upgraded to this role here. I think it was a quarterbacks coach, but he's worked with Jordan Love. So people are optimistic about him. However, throughout training camp, like something that Eagles fans really like about Jalen is that he doesn't turn the ball over, right? So through training camp, he has 13 interceptions, um, and he had 15 interceptions through the last four training camps combined. So as someone who's like one of the only elite things you could name that Jalen Hurts does, because I wouldn't say he's an elite like passer over the middle. I wouldn't say he's elite with his legs anymore. He doesn't really run that much. I mean, obviously he's good with our tush push, but I think that's maybe more of a symptom of our offensive line. Anyway, a lot of concerning things coming out of training camp, and I just don't know if the offense is going to get there in time. And by the time we get to week 3, you're having games against like the Bears, the Rams that are going to be must wins in a tougher division with the Cowboys twice this year. If you want to get over that, get to that 11 win mark, I just don't think they're going to get there. So I got them at 10 and 7.
Wow. So you'd be willing to put that much emphasis on what's been coming out of training camp? Because I always feel like these are just clickbait stories for like July when we have nothing else to do.
Yes. So going back to what you said at the beginning of the pod, like it's dangerous kind of to be surface level in. I would say I'm in the category of all in,
Yes, I
in
believe
terms of
you.
Eagles
I
training
believe
camp
you.
this year. And now there's even talk amongst like Philadelphia on our, WIP, our like local sports radio that we shouldn't even be counting training camp stats, right? This is the point where you want him with a new offense to be forcing passes, maybe trying out new things. And it's like, why are we even reporting stats and assigning that much value to them? Um, but for me personally, I just think that the turnovers aren't really the concerning thing, just the lack of moving the ball throughout training camp and just AJ Brown, since we had joint practices with the Patriots, so
Uh-huh.
like every single play was like massively scrutinized and just like really held under a microscope, which is maybe too much of an obsession for training camp, but I mean for a fan, it's just kind of making you have some uncomfortable feelings in your stomach as you get ready to, get the season going.
So, Joey, when you're like driving to like the store or like just where or work or wherever, like you're bumping Philly sports radio.
Yeah, I've not listened to a song in my car in probably 5 months since, being back here.
That's
Wow.
awesome.
All right,
Yeah,
respect. I respect it.
yeah, cultural thing.
Yeah, definitely. I was talking to Emily, like Emily Karpowitz's dad, because they
Mhm.
live in South Jersey, and I get the same vibe from him. He was telling me about Jalen Hurts' training camp INTs and stuff, in like 7-on-7, and I'm like, dude,
Yeah,
like I want to hate on the Eagles too, but like let's just like relax a little bit.
yeah. Now, and the solution by in no way is to get rid of Jalen Hurts. And that's
No,
what's being talked about on the radio. And it's like
Who are you
you
gonna get?
freaking yeah, you have 80-year-old Andy Dalton as your backup quarterback. Tanner McKee is like some Mormon guy who's I don't know. God's not on his side, unfortunately.
yeah,
And
and just like a
you,
team like the Vikings that kind of like F their quarterback situation so badly, and now they just have Kyler Murray, where it's like I don't hate Kyler Murray, but like that's not like the dream of who you want to end up with.
no,
Mm-mm.
not by any means at all.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wouldn't say like if they're 10-7 and they win like the final 4 games, which I could see happening, I could see them having a lot of tough conversations in the middle of the year. But this defense is going to be incredible this year,
Yeah.
the Eagles defense. They are
That was
so, so, so
So good.
talented.
that was my next
And
question
yeah.
actually for you, Joey. Um, if one of you guys don't bring it up first, I will be bringing up the Houston Texans. Little spoiler alert. But we have this conversation about Stroud. Do you feel pretty similar to Jalen Hurts? Is like just a better version of CJ Stroud, being like you just have to keep like don't turn the ball over and score some points, and we'll be good.
Yeah, that's what they've asked of him so far. And he's performed that completely. And now they're asking a little bit more. And I think it's unfair to, say Jalen's not the guy before you're asking him to step up and, in this like elevated role. And it's like, no, we want you to win these games. But I think on top of the defense, even though too, the biggest thing that you're ignoring is Saquon Barkley. And I mean, I know he's older, didn't have a great year last year, but he also had over 2,200 yards the year before that. So everybody predicted that he'd have that regression. And I don't know. I'm loving what we're hearing a lot of good things from the offensive line coming out of camp. Lane Johnson might be in his final year, but he's still playing at an elite level. So he might have like a little Wolverine like Logan arc boost this season, hopefully. So we'll see how it goes.
Cool.
All right. Well, Joey, now we're going snake fashion, so you get another pick.
Oh God.
And we can not, I don't want to speed run per se these teams, but
Yeah,
obviously we're going to spend a little more time talking about our favorite teams.
especially because Joey knows the third string quarterback of the Eagles. I don't know. with backups to any other team. I barely know the Cowboys backup.
I know the Giants' three quarterbacks, but I hope I never have to say any name besides Jackson Dart this year.
Yes.
I think we all hope that.
Yeah.
Yeah, in a villain way. I want to root against him the whole time.
Oh yeah, I would hate him if I were you guys.
Yeah.
All
All
right,
right,
Joey, what
Joey,
do you
where are we
got?
going?
Okay, so my Wi-Fi just totally cut out for the last like minute there. So did you guys draft already, or am I first on
No,
the
you're
board
up.
here?
You're first up. We
Okay.
heard you.
So,
Your video cut out a little bit, but we heard
whoa,
you.
whoa, whoa, what is going on? Here we go. Okay, let me get my notes up. Okay, my first former enemy of the Philadelphia Eagles. I have the Kansas City Chiefs getting to, I believe, let me see what I have. Over is what I picked. And they are at, sorry, fellas, Kansas City Chiefs. 9.5 wins. I think they're going to win
Mhm.
10 games this year. And let me tell you why. So, if you go to the Chiefs' schedule, I think they'll probably win their two matchups against the Raiders, as they typically do. I know Fernando is going to be fun and everything, and I think he's going to have a good year. And
God's on his side.
Kubiak's there. What was that?
God is on Fernando's side.
Yes, 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 he is. But the Chiefs, they are kind of very similar to the Eagles in a way that I still think they have a good defense. And last year had, I wouldn't say a bad quarterback, but not a good Mahomes year, and then very injured Mahomes year. So we don't know what his health is going to be like this season. And that's obviously the biggest question mark going in for them. But if you look at this schedule, they um they have a pretty easy go of things. So I'm gonna pull it up right now so I don't get anything wrong. They open the season against the Broncos, so also have a quarterback coming off an injury, and I'd give the advantage to the Chiefs there. So if they can take that first game, then they get the Colts, Dolphins, Raiders, and Chargers all in a row. Chargers could go either way. Probably lose the next game to the Seahawks. They play the Broncos again, but then they have games against the Jets, Falcons, and Cardinals. And then as well as a late season 49ers team. So who, as we all know, is probably going to be limping into that matchup by the end of December. So you start to look at things, they're probably going to pick up six easy-ish wins outside of the division. And then unless you're thinking that the Chiefs are going to lose like 4, 5 games in the division, which I don't see happening, I could really see them winning both matches against the Broncos, or at least splitting with Bo Nix being hurt and getting them early in the season, as well as splitting with the Chargers because I have no faith in Justin Herbert. So I know they have Mike McDaniel though now, the Chargers, and will probably be the best team in the division. I just am going to always yield to defense and an easy schedule, and my guy Big Red and Andy Reid. So I got the Chiefs winning 10 games this year,
Yeah.
Don't hate it.
or at least
I
over
think it's
nine
a
and a half.
reasonable, I think it's a reasonable
Yeah.
expectation. I just, for me, the reason I would stay away from the Chiefs and a couple other teams in the league is just like it's literally only about Mahomes being healthy or not, and we just don't know. That's
Mhm.
kind of where I stand. But that's all I got to say so far on the Chiefs. Spencer?
Yeah. Um, I like your pick. I am gonna go with the Houston Texans over 9.5.
Hmm.
I already previewed this a little bit. I'm kind of stealing a little bit from Bill Simmons, but I steal from it because he's not wrong. Their defense over the last 2 years has just been exceptional. It's like it's so good. And it's just getting better. Like Will Anderson's getting older. They're bringing players in. And again, their schedule, it's a pretty easy schedule. That division's not very good. Um, yeah,
How do you feel about
I think
Do you think that we can get C plus Stroud?
I do think so. I know that we're now three or going into the third year removed from his rookie year.
Yeah.
Does that make
Yeah, yeah,
sense?
yeah.
Um, but I feel like it's still in there. Um, and again, C plus, B minus. I don't even think he needs to be C plus against some of these teams. Titans, Giants,
Hey,
Browns, you know, like Steelers, Commanders. Yeah, I don't know. I like over 9.5.
yeah.
And I'm just gonna sprinkle this in here right as well. One of my futures bets, which I don't think I'm going to actually bet, but something I would consider because the AFC feels wide open, is plus 800 AFC champions.
I mean, I feel like my main concern is that there's been a lot of oh, well, they got David Montgomery, so their running game's fine now. We're like,
Yeah.
we all love Knuckles, but he's 29 and that's about
Hmm.
84 in running back years, so yeah, that's not my favorite. But yeah, I mean the defense, I don't think anything else needs to be said about it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I
Guys.
mean, there's a bit of an aura disparity though between coach and quarterback, which is I prefer my quarterback to have more aura than my coach. See the Eagles, for example.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Whereas I don't know if you guys saw him, CJ, checking in training camp, but
Oh, his
Not
new
good.
haircut's pretty bad.
it was straight
I
funk.
I
It
mean,
was
our biggest fans will probably remember that we did Coach Aura rankings last year.
we did.
Maybe we'll have to do a QB Aura rankings. I don't know if anything can beat the Coach Aura, but
No.
it's still a fun gimmick. All right, guys, I'm
How does
so
Diana
happy.
Rossini affect the Vrabel coach aura legacy?
I don't know. I don't know. It's not the best.
We might have
No.
to
Okay.
do a recoach or re-aura.
Yeah, the redraft.
Redraft orables.
Yeah. All right. This is just amazing that this is still on the board. This is one. Speaking of aura, Joe, you're gonna love this. I was like, all right, this team's 9.5. Fuck that. I'm going
Oh,
under.
you're
I'm
gonna
going
pick
under
mine.
so hard. No, no, they're not 9.5. They're 10.5. The Cincinnati Bengals are 10.5. I am going under. Thank you very much. I would go under 8.5. I
Yeah.
can't believe this because let me tell
That's
you what,
that's nuts.
the last time we watched the Bengals in a playoff game, Spencer and I were sitting in Cassell Hall. It's
Wow.
been 3 seasons since the Bengals have made the playoffs. It's been three messy ass seasons with some Burrow injuries, with an offensive line that doesn't protect their, gem of a QB, with Burrow being weird and depressed last year and saying all this weird existential stuff on the podium. And now this defense, which has sucked ass for all these years, everyone's saying, oh, well, they got Dexter Lawrence. Well, guess what? I watched the Giants last year. Dexter Lawrence was not that good. He was not worth the 10th overall pick. I'll tell you that much because he was part of the worst running defense in the league. And I don't feel that sad about losing him, honestly. Also, they lost Hendrickson, who was their best pass rusher. So I call that a net neutral, if anything. I just the notion that this team is going to just storm in and win 11 games feels bonkers to me. I know at the end of the day, the sports books know more than me, so it probably is a 50-50 chance, but there's not one number that I am more excited to bet on this board than Cincinnati under 10.5.
Yeah. No
Love the
notes,
pick.
honestly.
Love the pick. As long as Mr. No Aura is at the helm of that room,
Yeah.
of that locker
I
room,
cannot believe he's still the
he still
coach.
has a job. So,
I,
You
Mr.
can't
Taylor,
even
you're on notice.
you can't even believe how little aura that guy has.
his ass must be burnt to a crisp for how long he's been on the hot seat.
Dude,
Like,
yeah.
it's ridiculous. I love that pick. I didn't even see that. I don't know how I didn't see it's at 10.5. I just
It's because it's positioned just above Cleveland's glaring 5.5 wins, and you have to wonder
and you're
who
and
are
you're
these six
staring at
victims. Oh God, maybe I shouldn't use the word victims when talking about Cleveland sports, but I digress.
All right. Oh, crap. I get another pick.
Yeah, we got
Yes.
Dang.
five
All
minutes
right.
left in this,
Perfect.
but
Yeah,
we're
this
going
will be enough
good.
time. Perfect. Because I was wanting this. There's another 10.5. And this is what I love about over-unders. Bengals are 10.5. You know who's this 10.5? The Seahawks, who won the Super Bowl last year. And
Yeah,
that's an over.
that was mine. Yeah.
That's an over. I don't know. Everyone's like, oh, they lost like some guy that you've never heard of on defense. Like, I don't care.
They'll just replace him.
Hey, he plays for
Yeah.
the Eagles now.
It's just like the NFL is a league of replacement. I'm very sorry to say that. It's sad, but it is. They have a genius coaching their team. That was made
Hmm.
very clear last year. I don't like that they lost Walker,
I
obviously,
I have a point to that when you finish. Sorry.
but I just like, and I don't like that they lost Kubiak too. But I just think like there are teams like the Lions that are kind of weird and fraudulent and like lose to the Commanders and then they lose Ben Johnson and you're like, oh no, that's not great. And then there are teams like the Seahawks that win the Super Bowl so easily. They're so good and their coach is clearly so good. And I just have no fear expecting them to win 11 games this year.
Yeah.
Spencer, what was your point?
Um, Forget his name, the running back, but they drafted a running back in the first round, and I think it's really telling that that's what they would do because they have no other holes. Like they
Yeah.
lost that defender, but they also had like what the third or the first through third ranked defense the entire year. I'm sure they have guys they can plug and play, that they'll be fine with. And we talked about rotation or league, or you mentioned it. I think running back is the epitome of like, all right,
Hmm.
we could just plug and play. Like, I do want to bring up, I brought up last year multiple times. Sam Darnold is on a generational run for wins and losses the last 3 years. Um, I don't have the exact number, but they went like what 14-3 and then won the Super Bowl. They went 14-3 the year before and like 13-5 the year before that. Um, why can't he do it again with probably just as good a team in a league that might be worse overall because everyone has CTE?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, the only thing I'll
Jadarian
say about the
Jadarian
Seahawks,
Price is the name of the running back, by the way. I looked
yes.
it up. I didn't remember that. Okay,
Yeah,
Joe.
he's big on people's fantasy sleeper list this year. But the only thing I will say is that the Seahawks, despite winning the Super Bowl, are like widely considered the second best team in their division entering the season,
Yeah.
and by like a lot of people, which is crazy. But the Rams, obviously they have Myles Garrett, and that is a massive. I mean, no team has ever had an offensive player of the year and defensive player of the year from the previous year on the same team. So there's going to be unprecedented stuff from coming out of LA.
But look at
So I
that. We're
understand.
talking about the Seahawks and we're already talking about the Rams. That's
Yep.
Yeah,
disrespectful.
yeah,
Yep. So yeah, exactly the point. So the division's competitive. The Niners can stay healthy. The Seahawks also have a very difficult schedule this year. Like they have games that I know are considered wins probably when you look at that over under count, but like I don't know if you can guarantee that they're going to beat like how they could play the Eagles and Chiefs, right? I believe they play them back to back, and that you could easily go 0-2 in that stretch.
Yeah.
And then have divisional matchups against the Niners, 4 games against the Niners and Rams. So they have a tough path out there, but it's the freaking Super Bowl champions, and they did it in dominant fashion. So you got to yield to them for now.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's really telling when you have to look up who won the Super Bowl because they were just that dominant. And they just like they played with their food in the Super Bowl. I remember clearly, like I don't even remember it being close at all. It was 17-0 at the end of the first quarter, I think.
I don't think
Um,
so. I think that's right.
or something like that because they had like a kickoff return. Um, Maybe I'm
No, but
thinking
you're
of.
thinking of like the game against the Niners, I think.
Oh, I think so. Anyway,
We're gonna
but
run
I
out of time.
remember it being, yeah, I remember it being dominant. So we'll come back and
Yeah,
I'll
I'll
pick
make a new
up.
link. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
I got to go bathroom.
Let me tell you, approve. All right. After a little break, we're back. And I just wanted to say, by the way, the Seahawks were winning 9-0 at halftime in the Super Bowl,
Oh, I was thinking of
which is
the
pretty,
the
which is
other
pretty
game.
boring.
Yeah, that's my
Okay.
fault. Is it
Spencer, you're
me?
up.
Oh, I
Yeah.
hate being in the middle.
Yeah, being in the middle
Um,
sucks.
You guys could wait. Time
okay.
out real quick. You can still see
Yeah.
me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, I'm just getting my notes up and everything. But all right, we good.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Um, so for my next pick, I am going to go with an under. I'm going to do the San Francisco 49ers under.
Oh, good thing Nate's not on because that would have been his
Yes.
required pick.
And it's at 9.5. Um, let me just start. Nothing football related. It's not great when your owner, um, gets arrested for soliciting a prostitute for $140 in a trailer park
Dude, that's
when
pretty sad.
you're worth a couple $1 billion and the owner of a team located in San Francisco.
I
Um,
just I do want to know more about why that happened. I'm not trying to disparage prostitutes that charge $140 for their services. I just would expect someone worth that amount of money to pay a little bit more.
yes, yes, absolutely.
That's my only
I think that's
take.
fair.
Um,
I think that's fair.
and so and it was like he was caught in a sting operation, which means like he might have been doing this a couple of times. Um, like that's not good. Um, but to go away from that, we talked about the Seahawks, and as we said, the Seahawks conversation immediately spilled into the Rams. Okay.
Mm.
No one's mentioned the Rams. 12.5 is their number. It's a big number. 12, 13 wins probably does sound right. If we're gonna go 12, 13 for them, and then like 11 or 12 for the Seahawks, there's not many wins left.
Yeah.
Um,
They could all
and
be
I just
coming out of Phoenix, Arizona.
Yeah, really. I just I just don't see like even if the Seahawks get 10 wins, right, and they do go under, and then the Rams also go under at 12 wins. Do we see three teams in that division getting 10 plus wins with one team getting 12? That's
It did happen last year.
It did happen last year. That is correct. I think they're a little bit worse. And 9-8 is very respectable in that division. I I I really think so. The curse of that power plant or whatever
I was
strikes
wondering when it
again.
would come up.
Electric
Um,
magnetic fields.
Yeah.
you know, at some point it stops becoming a coincidence. Like I'm not to get too far into this, but both of you guys know I'm a big fan of soccer, and Arsenal have had problems with injuries for the previous 3 years. Everyone's getting injured, injured, injured. Soccer's a whole different sport because it's all muscle injuries. It's barely ever tears. It's just like hamstring pulls or whatever. Um, and they fired their physio the previous year, and then went on to not have as many injuries. So sometimes it really is just like training regimens and like just a physio or a nutritionist that can change everything. And they just don't seem to be fixing anything. They kind of just seem to be like content with it. And that's just not how you can go about this. You have to do something. And they just haven't done anything because this has not been like a new problem. We've been having this problem for a while. And yeah, I think 9-8 is respectable and 10 wins is seems like a bit much.
Joey, I feel like you're kind of our resident conspiracy advocate on the pod.
Sure.
Where do you
Yes.
stand on the electromagnetic field?
So I think that the prostitution may have been influenced by the
Really?
magnetic fields.
Oh
You
my
know, you
goodness.
never know. You never know. Um, Although my theory was, I feel like I have some evidence to substantiate this because the owner came out and independently investigated it, and the word he kept using was big nothing burger, big nothing
Big
burger.
nothing burger.
Yes. So clearly, this guy has skeletons in his closet and knows how to lie. Now, I'm not saying everything he says is a lie, but Big Nothing Burger sounds like, a pretty well scripted PR response that I don't know. I feel like there might be something to this stuff. So
Like maybe
I
he
personally will
owns the
need to be doing more
electromagnetic field or
research.
something. Or I don't know. I feel like Pablo Torres, maybe Pablo Torre actually did already research this.
Yeah, he
Um,
probably found out.
He's more money based. I don't think he would, but yeah.
I think he might have. All
Yeah.
right. Well, Niners, basically, we said nothing about football. We just talked about prostitutes and
But wait,
electromagnetic.
so what do you guys feel about that under pick?
Yep, I
I
think it's a math problem at the end of the day, and there's just what you said with the winds not going around.
I
And
I really do
yeah,
like hitting on the Niners too, but I also 9.5 is not the highest number. So
Yeah.
I'm a little uncertain.
Okay.
yeah, I agree. However, they have some out of division games that are pretty tough. Like they play the Cowboys, they play the Broncos, they play the Eagles, they play the Chargers this year. So
I mean,
Hey,
to get to 10 wins, I think they have to split with the Rams and the Seahawks. both of them, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
then beat the Cardinals twice. And I could see either the Rams or the Seahawks just sweeping them. And if they sweep them, if both of them sweep them, it's over. But if one of them do, I think that also makes it a lot more difficult.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
wait, am I correct that the Niners have two games abroad, or am I tripping? Because maybe it's the Rams that do. The Niners open up are pretty early in Melbourne, which is a
Wow.
crazy place to play a game. Um, but I think one team has a. I think the Niners have a game in Mexico City. Yeah, they have two. So they have week 11. They're playing Mexico City with the Vikings. So I just think two abroad games is like not the best. There's just a lot of variables there.
Yeah.
So, all right, Joey, I guess you have two now.
Yes. Okay. I was very nervous you guys were going to say this with all your mentions of 10.5, Toby. But I am going to have a confident under on the Detroit Lions
Oh,
at
yeah.
10.5 wins.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
I think that at this point they're I mean, they got last place in their division last year, right? At 9-8. They
Is
tied
that
the
right?
Vikings, but the Vikings had the tiebreaker somehow. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. They are fourth in the division. They got last place at 9-8. So I think two things stick out to me there. The Vikings were better than I actually remembered last season. They won the last 5 games of the
Yeah.
season, which is kind of impressive. But also, um, I don't think a team that is probably going to finish as the third place team in the division is going to win 11 games, right? And that's like the biggest thing for me here. Their cornerback also kidnapped a guy this offseason, and
Yeah, well, he's not
uh,
on the team anymore.
He's on the
yeah. So
Seahawks.
exact. Yeah, I was surprised he got picked up by anyone. Um,
What's his name
and
again? Does anyone
was
remember
it
it?
Arnold? Terry and Arnold?
Terry and Arnold, yeah.
Yes. So yeah, so um that's like the biggest thing with me for the Lions right now. I think the Dan Campbell like risky or lob like gimmick is starting to get a little old and people are like, sure, go for it on 4th and 5 from your 38, man. Like good risk, I guess. And I think it's starting to catch up with them. I'm not saying Jared Goff's like not the guy. I do actually think their running game was like the crux of that offense. And I think David Montgomery's an underrated loss, honestly. I think it's gonna be a big workload for Gibbs. I just don't see them getting to the 11 win mark. So that is a probably more confident in my Chiefs pick under for the Detroit Lions.
Hmm.
Can I
Yeah.
can I
Go
counter?
ahead, Prince.
Yes, you can.
Fourth place schedule. Let me go through some of their games. Saints, this is not in order. This is just like winnable, probably should win games. Saints, Jets, Panthers, Cardinals, Dolphins, Falcons, Titans, Giants. That's eight. Then, split with Vikings and Bears and Packers. There's 11. So it's a big number, but it's not doable. But I do think, David Montgomery is an underrated loss, and your things about Dan Campbell are real. And
Yeah.
Jared Goff's going to regress eventually. Why can't it be this year?
They're
Mhm.
also kind of in sort of a like offensive system purgatory where the loss of Johnson was so clearly a big deal last year. And now they're just kind of like now they're in another offensive coordinator, second in 2 years, and it's just like, oh no, I feel like there's a lack of stability. I I I see your point about the schedule, Spence, but also that I just think it's very possible that there's a crash and burn potential with this team, where it's
Certainly.
like Jared Goff is on the QB hot seat, and Campbell, of course, like could easily be on the coaching hot seat. I don't know. I mean, I think the bright side is Aiden Hutchinson, and just hoping that he's like
Mhm.
coming back full strength, defense hopefully healthier, but. Like we were talking about with the Niners, this is a defense that's always hurt. So like at a certain point, when is it not a coincidence?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like they were 9-8 last year, and I know we talk about the schedule, but like this team lost to like the Steelers at the end of the year. They got swept by the
Yeah.
Vikings. They the Giants, didn't they almost
Giants
beat them? I
almost
think they went
won.
to
Giants
yeah.
almost won.
When they were terrible, the Giants. Like this was post like
Yeah, this was like
Scatterbow's
Jameis
ankle
starting.
being
Yeah.
located on his knee. So they aren't really, the Lions of Christmas past. that they used to
Yeah.
be. They beat the crap out of the Bengals though.
Well,
So
what do you
that's
expect?
funny.
All right.
Um, okay, so we have three. We have three each. We've
Yeah,
given
let's
three each.
keep it going.
One more, or even two more, but
Let's
can we
just
do
see.
one that like we're not really that confident in, but throwing out like a little bit of Hail Mary pick
Yeah,
maybe?
Yeah.
little hot take. Hot take.
All right, this is hot take round.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe ones that we think could surpass their win total by a couple games
Right.
or
Right.
fall
Hmm.
underneath it.
Okay, yeah, let's do that.
Okay, I actually have a good pick for that in my opinion,
I feel like you're gonna
and
take
that's
mine.
going to be my Buffalo Bills. So
Okay.
I think that there's a lot of excitement entering this season, and I think an under talked about thing in like I know he's older and has like been through a couple teams now, but I think DJ Moore is going to be great with Josh Allen. I think he
You're
is the
going,
exact type.
just to be
I'm
clear,
going
you're going
over.
hard over.
Hard over with the Bills. They got 12
Okay.
wins last year, and I think they could do it again easily this year. I think the Patriots, though they won that division last year, I think the Bills are going to be a little hungry for it. I think that like they're going to be licking their chops, see how Drake May kind of played in that Super Bowl, and thinking like this is our division to win. They got their new arena, so vibes. I'm just going. This is a very vibes based pick, and trusting in the NFL's golden boy. So as much as I might be preying on his downfall, I could really see Josh Allen winning 12 games in any season he plays for the rest of his career. So I'm gonna go
Why are
Bills.
you preying on Josh's downfall? I feel like Josh, and like I say this as sympathetically as one can on this awful day. I feel like Josh is kind of like the Dolly Parton of the NFL. Like
Oh wow, that
everyone
is
loves
unfortunate framing.
Dolly, right? Like
Hmm.
everyone was sad yesterday when she died. Republican, Democrat, Independent, doesn't matter. Everyone's like, damn, she was great. I kind of feel that way about Josh. Like, Joey, I know that you've done some Twitter digging and maybe he's a conservative, but he's kind of got like the lib side of him too, being with Haley and everything. American power couple. Just like, I don't know, man. What's to hate about Josh? He's so fun to watch too.
My hate for Josh Allen, I think, stems from a defensiveness of the black quarterback in the NFL. I think that he has won MVP awards over Lamar Jackson, and when Lamar should have won them. And I think that in my city of Philadelphia, a lot of folks that look like me on the radio talk a little interesting about Jalen and his success. And, you know, a man of his background playing that position. And we all know there's a lot of history in the NFL around, black people playing quarterback. And I
Yeah.
think that I'm just like kind of roll my eyes at times when I see, I don't know, people do very similar things to Josh Allen, in my opinion, and, not get the same praise. And I don't know, I think Josh Allen loses his team games at times. Obviously wins them tons. But I don't know. If he played in a different city, like if he was in Boston or Philly, I think that their fans would be more frustrated at him and his decision making process that is probably what has contributed a lot of times to his lack of success. And then also though the boogeyman Mahomes has robbed him forever. But
Hmm.
so I just always I think it's just a general fear of authority. And Josh Allen, like you said, everyone loves him, and maybe that's just I got to look inward and why I'm not trusting of him. But yeah,
No, it's a good zag. I appreciate it.
I like it.
thank you.
All right, Spence, what's your big hot take?
Yeah. So when I was making these notes, or when I was like starting to think about it, um, I think I even mentioned this even last year. I talked about the Saints,
Oh,
and how I was like really excited about the
damn
Saints.
it.
I think Tyler Shuck is like genuinely a good quarterback.
Bro,
Like,
my liberal goat, Tyler Shuck.
like I, I mean, I don't know what else to say. The only thing that's like really stopping me from being like, yeah, this team's gonna win 10 games because they're at 7.5, which like I didn't think I'd live to see the day that the Saints were at 7.5. I thought again, like similar to their basketball team and similar to how you said the Lions offense, they're just like in purgatory in New Orleans, but they're definitely more of a football city, but sports in New Orleans is just kind of never worked. Like at least since Drew Brees left, and even that time they weren't like the best team. But the only reason I'm a little like iffy at the moment is their injury to Jordan Tyson, their new receiver. Um, I think he would have elevated Tyler Shuck to an even bigger level and like really made this offense one of the better offenses um in the NFC at least or in the league. Um and you know, along with Kellen Moore, who as a Cowboys fan, I really think is a good offensive minded coach. And you know, we could talk about aura rankings again. How much aura does a 32-year-old Kellen Moore have? But I really think that he's a good coach, and I do think the Saints can win 10 games pretty easily. Mostly because I have no faith in Atlanta. I have no faith in the Bucks, if I'm being completely honest. I think Baker is fine, Egbuka is fine, but I don't know outside of that. And then,
Bro, I heard that you accidentally picked Egbuka in the second
dude,
round.
I don't want to talk about my draft. I really don't. I was watching a soccer game and someone scored, and like I was like, oh my God, and my phone clicked Egbuka. I don't want to talk about it, or my finger clicked Egbuka. Um, anyway,
Oh, I gotta pay
yeah,
you
I
for that.
think, dude, I am. I wanted to quit then and there, and then I accidentally picked Dak Prescott in the first round. I don't know what I was doing.
What the hell?
I was just so shaken for the rest of the draft. Yeah. Anyway, I think the Saints win 10 games this year, and I think they win the
Wow.
division pretty comfortably.
All right. You know what, Spence? I love that pick. I was totally going Saints um, for my hot take pick, and I'm glad you took it because it's a good pick. I mainly Kellen Moore. That's just kind of where I'm at. I think he's really good. Um, all right. Well, I'm happy you took it because now it made me adjust, and I like my pick way more. I'm going under. I'm going. This team will have a top three pick in the draft. And it's crazy to me that their win total is 7.5. The Washington Seawards.
Yes.
I don't get it,
Good
man.
pick, Toby.
I don't get it. I think that there's just this weird lingering Jaden Daniels rookie year hype. And I like Jaden. Obviously, he's a very talented player. I don't understand anything that the Commanders did if they're putting this fragile, injury-prone franchise piece behind a truly awful offensive line. Doesn't make any sense to me. They had a bad offensive line last year. Doesn't look much better this year. They lost one of their better offensive linemen to the Chargers. Their defense is not good at all. And these are kind of the main two things, like quarterback, obviously, offensive line, and defense. Like these are the things that stand out to me the most. And I know they drafted Sonny Styles, but like, is an off-ball linebacker gonna make their defense like from like one of the worst to one of the better ones? No, of course not. And then I'm one who's normally like, yeah, normally you can fill in the blanks at receiver and running back because everyone's always getting hurt. But like McLaurin is like fucking like 40. Stephon Diggs is like 42. Their third wide receiver is Luke McCaffrey, who I guess is Christian's brother.
I thought he
But
was
he
a
doesn't
running
have
back.
and then they got Bill Krosky Merritt, who I think is
That's
just
sad.
like a forced character, industry plant, if you will. So
Fantasy
yeah,
football industry plant.
Yeah.
I think they suck. Like I think this team sucks. And also, you talked about your ass being burnt to a crisp from the hot seat. Dan Quinn, anyone? So
Yeah.
give me a break. Commanders, they suck, and I'm going top three draft pick. That's my hot take. Joey, I can tell you're excited.
I'm very excited. I'm very confident about that pick. I think the
Hmm.
vibes in Washington, D.C. are low, and it's shifting to a basketball city. I think the people are not going to be really. This is not. I don't think the Commanders are. They're going to be the Commanders that we're used to, right? As Giants, Cowboys, and Eagles fan. Or yeah, wow, I can't believe that's one I forgot. As Giants, Cowboys, and Eagles fans, like are just not even like pathetic. Just kind of their little brother, who you know is always gonna be 9-8 perpetually in their souls. But they're not going to be 9-8 this year. They're going to be a bad team's version of 9-8, and they're going to win. I think you're right, like probably 4 to 3 games. I think they are
Top
absolutely
three pick is
dreadful.
crazy. There are some bad teams in the NFL. I like
There's some
that.
bad teams in the NFL,
There are
but
some really bad
if
teams.
you look up the Commanders right now, the top headline from NBC Sports just reads Commanders offensive line inoperable in practice. So,
Inoperable.
so that is a word I've never heard
Clip that.
to describe football players. So
Dude,
they are very much like they're in trouble.
I just don't get it.
Wow.
Like their offense ca simply cannot be good if that's the case, and their defense isn't good. And yeah, no, I mean, I hear you, Spence. There are bad teams. Okay, Cardinals, Dolphins, like really bad.
Hmm.
But okay, then you have like
Cleveland,
Cleveland, not
Jets,
like Cleveland Jets,
Vegas.
like those teams
I think I
all
take the
have
Browns in a
like
game over them though.
Yeah.
Oh, they don't have Miles Garrett anymore. We have to, guys, when we
Dude,
talk
they
about the
have
Browns,
no,
we
but they
have to
have
remember that.
no,
they
I
don't
want
have
to
Myles Garrett.
I want to talk about Browns.
Yeah.
They did get did the fuck. They did get Jared Verse, who I like. I think they
Yeah,
got a
Yeah,
good package for him for Miles Garrett.
yeah.
I agree.
But
Miles
no, I
Garrett
just
is like the best defensive player I've ever seen play though.
yeah. I
Take
just
that
think
back.
with
It's
teams
Aaron
like
Donald.
the I think with teams like the Browns and the Browns losing Garrett, I mean, duh,
Yeah.
obviously that's a big deal. The Browns, the Titans, the Raiders, I just see some like glimmers of like you could be okay. Um, with the Commanders, I see the complete opposite, where I just see like a bottomless pit. And
Yeah.
it's just so mind-boggling that like 1 year and 7 months ago, we were watching the Eagles play the Commanders in the NFC Championship game. Like incomprehensible. So
Yeah,
yeah.
So
it's crazy.
if I remember correctly, it went Caleb Williams, then
Then Daniels, then May.
then Daniel. Do you think Commanders are regretting that pick? Yeah.
I don't know.
I
That's
wouldn't.
No.
He can't.
that's a
Okay.
big thing to say.
Okay. I mean,
Um,
because the way I'm thinking about it is like, is this team better with Drake May? And
I don't know.
I just think I
Inoperable
just
offensive line. What are you gonna
yeah.
do?
I don't think
All
they're
right.
better. I think I'd rather have Jane Daniels than Drake May still. I mean, Drake May was
I think
horrific
so.
in the Super Bowl. It's
Yeah.
terrible. And like their playoff
Can't believe we haven't talked about that team yet.
oh my
Crazy.
God. There's not many teams I'm preying on their downfall more this year. I'm
Do we want to do one more round or like just
Yeah,
talk about some teams?
let's
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
we can speed run around maybe.
Go for it.
I'm
I did like this round. I might parlay these three teams.
okay.
I like that.
I'm gonna we'll do speed run round. I'm just gonna go Packers over 9.5. Nothing sexy, nothing exciting. Jordan Love is just like the new king of the QB nerds, so
Yeah.
I think that can be tanked. That's my take on the Packers. Not that deep. And hopefully Kraft comes back because he's a really great player.
Hmm.
All right, Spence.
Um, Cleveland. Can I interest anyone in Cleveland over 5.5?
over. No.
No. Yuck.
No.
I'd
Okay.
honestly go
Um,
under. There are
That,
my
that can be your pick.
it is my pick. It is my pick.
Okay.
And I know we're speed running. I just want to give 2 points. I think Shador starts week 3. I think this is more of just like getting him in. I don't hate their offense outside of the quarterback, and I kind of don't hate their defense. I kind of really like their defense, even though they lost Myles Garrett. I think Verse slots right in. You can't really slot in for the second best defensive player of our generation, but um, they got Fannin, they got Quinshon Judkins, and I think if Shador can be a serviceable quarterback in week 3 or 4 beyond, unless the reason they're starting Watson is because they're really tanking and they don't want this, then other than that, there's no point. But I think they can get to 6 wins.
I think that the new Browns coach is if we do a new coach aura rankings this year, he's going to be in the negative aura camp.
Yeah, I I'm already regretting that, but I'm sticking to it. I'm
Well, yeah,
sticking to it.
you're stuck to it.
Yeah.
Joey?
my final pick, I'm kind of stuck between two teams here, but I'm actually gonna go Chargers over 9.5 wins. I think that the coaches behind that team, there's just too much combination of talent and coaches now finally in that building, with a pretty shitty division, like a waning Chiefs, a hurt Broncos team, and the Raiders. So I think that overall, I'm just gonna have to go with Chargers. I'm got a lot of faith in Mike McDaniel. Big on Lad McConkey this year, and I just think I'm gonna see a lot of good things out there in LA.
I
I
feel
was
like
gonna
that
do
goes
that
against
or
your.
the Bears.
I feel like being big on lad goes against your morals.
It does, it does. But I don't know. Speedy white slot receivers have a special place in my heart
I'm
for some
just
reason.
I'm just waiting for
Riley
that.
Cooper.
No, not him.
I'm just waiting for that ESPN notification where it says one of the Chargers tackles tears his Achilles or ACL because it's happened each of the last 2 years
Yeah,
in
Yeah,
let's hope
preseason.
not.
bro. Control Alt
Um,
Delete.
Yeah, I hope it doesn't happen just so Justin Herbert has zero excuses.
yeah.
We all
Because
hate
it's
Justin.
like, yeah, prove it year 4 now, buddy.
Okay,
Okay.
So,
wait, but before we go, unless there's any other teams that you want to talk about.
How about I throw some teams at you guys and we just get a quick over under.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Panthers 7 even
I think they
over,
win 7 games.
under for me. Pats 10 even.
Under.
under,
Yeah, me too.
or
Uh
manifesting.
Vikings, Kyler Murray Vikings 8.5.
Sneaky over.
Under.
Over for me. Okay. Both the teams that have 3.5, Arizona, Miami.
Um, Miami under,
Yeah. Arizona
Arizona.
under 2. I think they both win 3 games. Because
Arizona.
at the
Yeah,
end of the
under.
season, I could see like Arizona being 3-11 and Miami being 2-12, and then Arizona just like we're going to tank for the first overall pick.
Do they play each other? That's the question.
I don't think so.
I doubt it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna go Arizona over Miami under.
I just Arizona that division for Arizona, like it's just 6 losses to start the season. I think
Okay. Denver 9.5.
Over.
Me too. Definitely over. I should have picked that one, honestly.
yeah, over.
Jacksonville 8.5.
I actually think they'll somehow win 8.5 games. I think that's what it's going to say on their record.
Yeah, dude.
They're gonna tie. They're gonna tie. They're gonna go 8-8-1.
The only person that could do that would be Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
I have absolutely no idea what this Jacksonville Jaguars team is gonna look like.
No.
Gotta go over. Division's so terrible.
I'll
And
do
I
I'll
think
do
that they're underrated.
I'll do under just because I've picked a lot of overs and not every team can go over, so I'll pick under.
I gotta go
That's
over.
really why I picked over because I picked a lot of unders.
All right, last one. Rams 12.5.
Over is going to be the
Under.
best team we've seen in years.
I don't know, man. I don't
I
think I
think
could
the
ever
league's
I
too
don't think I could
hard.
ever pick an over 12.5
Yeah, it's so
ever.
hard to win
I'm going
13
under by
games.
principle.
And
You're
it's
just
not like they're
gonna
in a shitty division. They have an amazing division. Super
yeah.
Bowl champs in their division.
12 and a half
Um,
is so many game wins.
I just feel
So
like
much has to go right. Their
the
quarterback is what,
pers
39?
I just think the percentages of winning 13 games in a season is just lower than 50%
Yeah.
at the end of the day.
yeah, damn,
All right.
you're right.
Well, this is
Vegas,
what's up? Vegas?
Vegas, 5.5.
Bro, I hate Vegas. I
They'll
don't
be
know.
under probably. They'll probably win around
5.5
5,
is
but be
so
optimistic.
bad. I don't know. I'm gonna go over. I'm gonna go over. Like 5.5 is so low.
Yeah, it is
Yeah.
cool though to have Kubiak with the best running back and best quarterback from the last 2 drafts probably combined. So,
Yeah. And it's just
um,
like going 6-11 is not that good. So
Okay. Wait. Before we go. Okay. I want you guys your thoughts. So on FanDuel, not sponsored by the way, reach out, give us a call.
yeah,
Um
we'll take a sponsorship.
um you could do like exact divisions or like division order.
Yeah.
Cowboys NFC East winner, Eagles second, Giants third, Commanders fourth. What do you think the odds on that are?
Plus
Ooh.
2,200.
Wow, that's crazy. It's plus 700.
Oh.
Um, but you know,
That's terrible.
it's not great, but I think it's either that exact thing or just flip the Eagles and the Cowboys, and so you could just bet
You
both if you really want.
Yeah, if you're gonna bet on the I think that you can pencil in the Giants as third and the Commanders as fourth. I'm really confident in
That's
that.
what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
So
thinking.
whatever you bet that if you're gonna
You can just
bet
bet
that
both.
division, you might as well bet both. Yeah.
Okay.
Or you just
And
bet
then
Giants to win the NFC. And then that's
Here we
probably
go.
the best bet.
Outright.
and then I told you my Houston Texans AFC champs plus 800.
I like it.
Um, and then this was like me just like getting bored on FanDuel. But Los Angeles Rams Super Bowl winner, Houston Texans Super Bowl loser plus 4,500.
Yeah.
You
I don't
like those
know. I just
Texans.
feel like
You're in on the
you
Texans.
love those Texans.
Yeah.
Nate, my brother also loves the Texans. He's like obsessed with them. I'm like, dude, I don't
Did
know.
they
I
add
think
anybody or just get healthy? Like, is that it really? They just got a little healthier and
Montgomery.
got
I always
Montgomery.
you keep hearing about Montgomery. Like I don't
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
care. Um,
Most
Um,
influential second string running back in NFL history, I
who
guess.
do you think has better odds to win the Super Bowl, the Bengals or the Cowboys?
Oh my God.
it's
You,
probably
the
the
fact you're
Bengals.
asking makes me say Bengals, but
The
that's
exact
crazy.
same. The exact same.
Well,
Honestly,
I
fuck
think
it. It should be. I don't think the Cowboys have any chance to win it. And I think that the Bengals are a healthy Burrow away. Like
Who has a better odds to win the Super Bowl, the Chargers or the Chiefs?
Chiefs.
Chargers.
The Chargers.
What,
The
bro?
Chargers, you ready for
Oh my
this?
God.
The Chargers are the fifth best odds to win the Super Bowl.
No, no.
The quarterback had to win a playoff game.
It goes Rams, Bills, Seahawks are plus 1,100. I know that it's hard to repeat, but yeah, Ravens
It's hard
plus
to repeat.
1,200, Chargers plus 1,600.
Dude, the Ravens is the sexy pick there.
Guys, I don't know
Yeah.
how good this league is right now.
Yeah, a
Isn't
lot of
it
parity.
crazy? Last year that both Seattle and New England were both like 65 to 1 to win the Super Bowl.
It was really unlikely, the matchup at
Yeah.
the beginning of the
Who's
year.
Spencer? Who's at 65 to 1? That's
I'm
good.
looking at it right now. So at plus 6,000, we have the Steelers,
Oh,
Wow.
God.
and plus 7,000, because there's no 65, we have the New York Giants.
Oh,
I
Toby.
just got chills. I just got chills. I can't take it.
Can I interest you? Can I interest anyone at plus 2,700 for the Jacksonville Jaguars or the Chicago Bears?
You can
Bro,
interest me in the Bears for sure.
Bears low-key are sexy this year because everyone's preying on their downfall. But
Yeah,
Um,
Caleb Williams is my MVP sleeper pick, man.
something that
dude,
actually
yeah.
something that's actually stood out to me like just now, and you made a really good point on your last pick, Toby, is the Packers at 22 to 1. Isn't It's an awful. A lot has to go right. A lot
Yeah.
has to go right. But the Chargers have the fifth best odds to
Dude,
win the Super Bowl,
Yeah, they're
guys.
just like they're
Packers
like
over
a B. They're
Chargers
the
for me.
definition of B plus. Yeah, exactly. Like they're just like a little bit worse at like they're like all not elite other than Micah. I feel like and their receiving room is horrible, dude.
Any teams that we
Yeah, that
didn't
is
talk
true.
about.
That is a problem.
So what we're basically saying here at plus 500 is the Rams, and then the next closest is Buffalo Bills. Basically,
I
FanDuel is saying like we will give you even odds to basically take the field versus the Bills or versus the Rams. Because if you take like $2
On
on
all
the
of them.
next four or five, if you take $2 in the next five, if the Bills win, you break even, right? Because you'll just get your money back at plus 1,000. Everyone else you win money on. So it's
right.
basically like the field versus the Rams, which how often is like the clear best team actually winning at the beginning of the season? How like the minus maybe the Chiefs, like the Chiefs those
Yeah.
years, the Patriots.
But the Patriots were always like the second team. they were never the top dog.
I
I
just
feel like entering the season, there's always like a bigger story.
This might be a bigger topic for the 3 minutes that are left in the pod, but do you think like the narratives of we've officially entered an era of parity and we're no longer in a dynasty era are accurate? Or do you think it's like a little bit like reactive?
Um, you gotta wait another year. I think because
Yeah.
Agreed.
Mahomes goes to the AFC Championship this year, or like beats Allen in the playoffs this year, and you're like, oh shit, like he's the GOAT. Like,
Yeah.
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 yeah,
I again like I could see the Seahawks going back to back, and it's like you can't really call that a dynasty, but
what if
if
the
the
Eagles
Ram
win?
Dude, I don't want to think
plus
about
eighteen
that.
Is
hundred,
that that's not dynasty, but that's three titles in like 10 years with four
It's
appearances.
it's the
That's
third it makes them the third best team of the 21st century.
I
yeah, for
think
sure.
parity in professional sports is thanks to the salary cap and analytics. And I think you see it in basketball. We're seeing it somewhat now in football. And yeah, you're gonna have that parity when you can't pay four players a max contract, and that's
Right.
why there's not parity in the
And
MLB.
right, exactly. Damn. Rip the
That'd
MLB.
suck.
Um, yeah. So I can't get over this Chargers 16-1.
Don't bet that, Spence.
I'm
Don't
not,
bet.
no, 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 no. I'm saying that's the most ridiculous thing
No, I
ever.
know, I know.
I just none of these teams interest me except for the Rams and the Bills, and I think that's like
Sucker
like
bet.
should tell you.
I'd be okay. The Ravens bet interests me for sure.
They're preying on your weaknesses there.
You guys want
They
to
are. They're
hear
exploiting
something?
me.
You guys want to hear something crazy? Arsenal, my favorite team,
Oh
obviously,
God.
is minus 135 to win the Premier League after the first
Damn.
game.
Uh
That
Minus.
is that's crazy.
Are they like
Minus
super team?
odds, they are. But like it's minus odds is with 37 weeks to go in a sport that can change in an instant. I think
I have a one
FanDuel's so
dollar
high.
I put this futures bet I did when I had like $1 left in my account and I was like, screw this, I'm done gambling, I'll do $1 and then I'm done. So on just a bunch of league winners and I bet on the Minnesota Lynx to win their league, to win the WNBA title, and they are even now at this point,
It's
Ooh.
huge.
which
I
is
have
huge.
a
And I bet
three
that at
leg
like 350.
last thing is I have a three-leg parlay. Arsenal to win, Cowboys to win, then Knicks to win all their championships. $1 to win 350.
Wait, did you already like? Did you mean this
Arsenal
year?
and Knicks have already cashed, you mean?